This is The Road to the Kentucky Derby, presented by Woodford Reserve.
22,000 horses are foaled each year. Some 3 years later, a little more than 1% will be nominated to the Triple Crown. And after the completion of this 35 race series, only 20 horses will get into the Kentucky Derby starting gate.
The road to the Kentucky Derby is how horses qualify to the Kentucky Derby. The Iroquois is the first race, definitely gets the juices a little more going because you're on the leaderboard and people are excited that they have a horse who runs well under the Twin Spires.
You've got a lot of big names in the race. You've got Steve Asmussen, you've got Dale Romans, you've got Brad Cox. With young and talented horses, these horses have to run farther than they have before. They have to overcome a different kind of adversity in a big field against tougher competition. That's kind of what a race like the Iroquois is all about.
While you're following this road to the Kentucky Derby, during the prep season, new faces and new, talented horses are emerging each week.
I train a 2-year-old colt who's a New Jersey bred by Kentheros, whose name is Royal Earn. I started in hunters and jumpers at the age of 7 with no pedigree and no realistic background. My mother was a lawyer and my father was a biochemist. So I basically followed essentially in my father's footsteps and stayed in university for a very long time. But I always had a horse, or I was always riding, or I was always teaching other people how to ride. So knowing that I had reached these academic achievements that I thought were important to me, and they were, and I still love doing them, but not with the passion and the devotion that I have to horses and racing. I had to find a way to make it happen or not make it happen. It was an all or nothing. You can't be a part-timer, I don't think, personally. So I said, all right, I'm not doing anything in science for as long as it takes to figure out whether I can survive. And I committed to being a racetracker, literally started right from the bottom and went all the way to where I am today. You have to enjoy every achievement you make. So being able to bring him here from a very small string in South Florida, obviously a long way from getting to the Derby, but I'm on the first step. So I might be at the bottom of the stairs, but I'm at the stairs.
Steve Asmussen is loaded with a good crop of juveniles. Tight 10 is one of those. He's the current 7-5 favorite, but there are some other horses in here with plenty of promise as well.
On the track for today's 10th race, the 37th running of the Iroquois. Grade 3 for 2-year-olds and a Breeders' Cup Challenge win and urine race.
You gonna be here for the Breeders' Cup?
I'm gonna try really hard right now.
They're in the gate and they're off in the Iroquois, and tight 10 with a great start. Maniwa flashing speed on the outside. My Sixth Sense is pushed on for speed early. Pulsetter pulls back off the pace. Royal Earn gets a forward spot while inside as they race into the clubhouse turn. My Sixth Sense comes up alongside of tight 10, and they share the lead together, racing to the half-mile pole. Right in behind is Royal Earn racing in third. Maniwa's on the outside in fourth. Cairo Cat with a decisive move.
Open up the rail,
Cairo Cat set to strike right in behind. Everfast made a good move on the far turn to the Tobacco Road. Synthesis comes wide for the stretch drive, but they have to catch tight 10, who turns for home in front. Cairo Cat wanders off the rail, switches outside, and is coming after tight 10. Here comes Cairo Cat running down tight 10 in the final few strides. Cairo Cat on the outside, up to win it. Cairo Cat works out the trip with Brian Hernandez Jr. to beat tight 10 on the wire. Pulsetter was third in Tobacco Road.
You tried, Lino. Yeah, that was, you put him in a great spot. Just got really tough on you, didn't he?
Yeah.
Lionel and I think collectively, it looked to me like we just hit a really slow pace. So that experience for him was a little challenging, but I thought he handled it pretty well. He still had so much horse that he really had to ratchet him down considerably. So he got a pretty good education today. I would have liked to have seen him finish a little bit better, obviously, but I think 2 turns and more experience is going to only help him.
In the winner's circle is Cairo Cat, owned by Walking L Thoroughbreds, trained by Ken McPeak, with winning jockey Brian Hernandez Jr.
He did everything like an old horse, really. And for a 2-year-old to step up the way he did and travel like he did, it was really impressive. It's a win-in-your-end race, and we have points looking forward to next year's Kentucky Derby as well. You know, this is the time of the year you get excited for these 2-year-olds, and looks like we have a good one.
The road to the Kentucky Derby has been presented by Woodford Reserve.